Vinaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Pauline.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
Yandra Vinaka, Fiji. In this bulletin, domestic violence numbers rise significantly. Online learning faces challenges. And rubbish dumping enhances flooding in Nausori.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Domestic violence cases through calls to the helpline 1560 in the last 3 months has increased almost 170%. Equally, calls for assistance to the child helpline 1325 has also spiked. Minister for Women Mereseni Vuniwanga says while this was expected in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, stakeholders involved have worked tirelessly to respond to the crisis. Maggie Boyle reports.
It's a collective front in response to what the Prime Minister calls a national disgrace, the reality of domestic violence here.
The abuse of children and also violence against women and girls. And these two helplines have been critical in bringing to the fore what has previously been largely private issues in our homes.
For a month we might get about 40 calls on that line, and most of them would have to do with domestic violence. But over the last 2 months, we have got an increase of almost over 170%.
With the COVID-19 restrictions in place, it's been a pressure cooker for domestic assaults against both women and children.
The child protection issues that are currently heard on the line or received on the line are neglect, sexual abuse, physical abuse.
COVID prevention, while it's social isolation and distancing is good for the prevention of the virus, it can prove very harmful for women and children who are ensconced with the perpetrators or would-be perpetrators in the house 24/7.
Together, though, they have taken on a more coordinated response.
Bringing the expertise together to put in place a mechanism in which we can still deal with the issue around the unique circumstances surrounding COVID, the restrictions, the curfews, all that.
Some of these calls are from bystanders, which is really good, which is the community taking responsibility. So it's either family members or neighbors.
And we've got the advert on Charlie the Turtle, you're never alone when you are near the phone. That concept is applicable to actually everyone.
The spike in domestic violence cases, while expected, has nonetheless been overwhelming. However, with a responsive network, the Gender-Based Violence Working Group effectively is a platform that makes it accessible to access emergency services when needed. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
2 men appeared at the Lambasa Magistrates Court yesterday for allegedly setting fire to a home in Benal, Lambasa last week that resulted in the deaths of 4 elderly women. The case has been transferred to the Lambasa High Court and will be called on May 12th. 40-year-old Saimumuddin and 19-year-old Zuhair Farhad are charged with 1 count each of arson, 4 counts each of murder and 1 count each of attempted murder. The court ruled that murder is an indictable offence, and as it was a serious offence, it was not in the interest of justice that the men be bailed. With the current pandemic gripping the country, the teaching and learning process has been disrupted. Universities have opted for online learning to prevent deferrals in their lesson plans. However, this has been a challenge for some who are trying to adapt to the new mode of learning. Venina Rakautonga reports.
Universities in Fiji have put lenient measures for online classes to make learning easier and efficient for their students.
Well, online classes have always been a challenge in the past because there's no compensation for face-to-face interaction because the students and the lecturers can meet each other physically in the classroom, and that's always been part of the social aspect of learning and education. On the other hand, we're not living in normal times, and so we really have to consider how best we can deliver the same knowledge, same content through the language of the computer.
The University of the South Pacific says these are temporary measures and will resume face-to-face teaching as soon as government relaxes current social distancing requirements. While most students are required to learn from home, universities have received a number of grievances from students that don't have access to learning tools.
So, because we're fully aware of the connectivity and device issue, so we've got special deals for students with Vodafone and Digitel for them to not have to use their data to get onto the FNU website and therefore get onto the learning materials of Moodle.
The University of the South Pacific says they have availed computer labs in all their campuses, as well as data plans for their students to help with efficient learning. Given the current COVID-19 situation, government has advised that schools will still remain closed, but some universities are hoping face-to-face classes will resume from semester 2. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
The illegal dumping of rubbish in and around Vuthi Nausori is one of the major causes of flooding in the area. Waterways Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the rubbish has blocked the flow of drains, creeks and rivers, causing flooding during rainy weather. He says the ministry has worked in previous years to help address the issue and the support from the community is what is needed. He adds illegal dumping of rubbish poses a risk to people's health.
We are risking the life of our livestock. We are risking our own people's health and well-being by contributing via the leachate which is ending up in the waterways.
The repercussions of COVID-19 on the global business platform has had major impacts on our business operations. The Attorney General says stakeholders should work hand in hand in this time of crisis in order to sustain businesses. The Attorney General says Fiji needs to be resilient and the pandemic requires businesses to be more resolute and innovative.
We've seen supply chains, we've seen, travel being stopped, tourism coming to a halt in all the countries in the world. And of course it has a huge impact in respect of how we do business. In fact, a lot of businesses are now operating, globally speaking. It has an impact on Fiji, of course.
A tourism operator based in Vundalautoka says they will endure the hard times because they are optimistic about the future. Nila Beach Resort, a 22-room facility, has lost about $300,000 since February but has no plans to shut down. Managing Director Mohan Nila says they have planned investments worth $70 million and are adamant about seeing this through.
We completed only stage 2, another about 8 stage left. Our resort has got 14 acres land and 9 acres foreshore. Total, when we complete the project, it will be 212 rooms.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has urged every Fijian to remain safe as there could be undetected COVID-19 cases among our communities. Bainimarama says it's more than 2 weeks now since the last confirmed COVID-19 case, and we have to remain positive for the virus. Fiji being left with the remaining 4 COVID-19 patients, the Prime Minister is urging every Fijian to be diligent and keep safe. Bainimarama is requesting every Fijian to keep adhering to directives in place.
In Fiji, we have this virus on the ropes. If we continue to press our advantage and go 4 full weeks without a new case, we'll have officially broken the known chains of transmission. Until then, there could yet be hidden symptomless cases that are going undetected among our communities. So, even with the end in sight, we must remain as diligent as ever.
In sports after the break, swimmers urged to be realistic with targets. And Vern Cotter maps out plan for flying Fijians.
Oira na ngone no de nunu ena bisi ni mataka.
Mersi sunga da ke no loma dina kilo mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitar lo bina no rabang sangai ka wala lo mataki na ngone. Dhalabina oya wameliki.
Mulre oya Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikirau ena be mataka.
Boniti kina makarombuka.
Ni waitiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Indaukina na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
Like other athletes vying for the Olympic Games, Fiji swimmers are looking to earn their place in the Olympics by merit. Fiji Swimming has been allocated 2 spots to the Tokyo Olympic Games, with 8 swimmers aiming to qualify by the required time. Swimmers vying for the Olympics are required to meet the FINA A and B qualifying time, but Federation President Ben Rova is urging swimmers to be more realistic with their goals.
So what we're trying to do with our swimmers is to tell them, look, be realistic, target for, like B, and then obviously you go for the A, because, those times are pretty tough and challenging.
The postponement of the World Chess Olympiad has given ample time for Fiji Chess Federation to select the best players to the competition. Scheduled events came to a halt amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, with the sport turning to online platforms to resume competitions. Federation General Secretary Guru Arvind says this will allow the Federation to be able to choose the best players for the World Olympiad.
Since the tournament has been deferred by 1 year, we'll have to probably reselect at the end of the year. But at this point, I think since the sport is online, it's easier for us to rotate reps.
Taking a look at today's weather, it'll be cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, cloudy periods with afternoon or evening showers. And that is your FBC Morning News. Join us at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. Remember, in times of crisis, you need factual news that you can trust. Stop believing fake news about the COVID-19 on social media. Fight misinformation by getting only the facts about the coronavirus from verified news sources, like FBC's TV, radio and digital media news. www.fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।